Live from RedZone Weather, this is a severe weather alert.
A tornado warning is in effect for parts of northern Okaloosa, far southern Covington, and the extreme southeastern part of Escambia County here in Alabama. So parts of 2 Alabama counties and 1 northwest Florida county involved in this active tornado warning that is on the board until 4:15 p.m. Good evening to you. I'm meteorologist Spinks Megginson, kicking off live coverage. This is the first tornado warning that we have had in quite some time. Here's your polygon. And let me go ahead and say that most of the major population centers with this tornado warning are not included in the tornado warning zone, which is certainly a good thing. This is going to be for the far northern part of Okaloosa County and the far southern part of Covington County here in Alabama. The possible rotation is out here in the Blackwater River State Forest, which is just to the north of Florida State Highway 4 here. And no part of Santa Rosa County is included in this active tornado warning. Let's put this into motion for you so you can see what triggered the tornado warning. And this storm is moving out of Santa Rosa County into Okaloosa County. Now, if you're in Bruton, if you're in Atmore, if you're in Flomaton, this is not for you. Same thing in Andalusia, Opp, even areas near Carolina, not included in this tornado warning storm that is in the northern part of Okaloosa County. If you're just joining us, the current time is 3:36 p.m. I'm meteorologist Spinks Megginson, and this is just now coming on the board for parts of northern Okaloosa County. So what I'm going to do quickly is get out our emergency notification system for the RedZone Weather app, and we want to thank all the folks who have downloaded the RedZone Weather app. Again, this storm is in a very isolated part of Okaloosa County, right in through here. Let's actually show you the reflectivity product, and you'll see that, again, this storm is well away from most of the population centers. Here's the reflectivity view, and vast majority of us have no severe weather issues ongoing as of 3:37 p.m. You can see across South Alabama and Northwest Florida, storms erupting here across Escambia County, the northern part of Santa Rosa, and really the northern part of Escambia County, Florida as well. But most of these storms remain under severe limits. This is the one storm that has ramped up to the point where the National Weather Service in their assessment thinks that there's a good possibility that there could be a tornado down. So what I want to do is zoom in to the storm as it stands right now, and let's tell you first of all who is involved. Let's start with Escambia County, Alabama. And basically the only folks in Escambia County, Alabama involved in this active tornado warning out here near Bethel and Roberts. And even then, it's kind of a close call. The polygon really does not include much land area in Escambia County. So again, if you're in Bruton or East Bruton, areas near Flomaton, Alco, Atmore, Porch, Huxford, you are okay. All those major population centers that I just called out, these storms are well under severe limits. The tornado warning is way over here, just to the south of Dixie, out towards Dixie Highway and County Highway 4. What happens is when you turn off of Highway 29 out here in the middle of nowhere, really, in the eastern part of Escambia County near Damascus, again, a very rural area, you've got Highway 4 that runs through Bethel and Roberts. And again, we know that many people live out here, but again, the tornado warning polygon not including any of the population centers in Escambia County. Let's go to Covington County. And if you're in Covington County, the only community really involved in this is going to be Wing. So if you're watching from Andalusia, Opp, areas near River Falls, Red Level, Carolina, Pleasant Home, areas near Onika, perhaps Sanford, Strawn, you're okay. All those areas that I just called out, you are okay. But if you are in Wing along the 137, that's Alabama Highway 137 here, you need to take shelter. So again, Highway 4 right here, this is 137 right here near Wing. That's the area involved in this active tornado warning. And even Florala, which is over here, Florala and Lockhart are not included in the tornado warning polygon. So again, if you're in Wing, say within 5 miles, if you live within Wing, you need to take shelter right now. Same thing in the northern part of Okaloosa County in Florida. In fact, here's the entirety of Okaloosa County: Destin, Fort Walton Beach, you're A-okay. This has nothing to do with you. Same thing in Crestview. Baker, you are fine. This is north of Baker, and we advise no travel on the highway north of Baker. Your possible tornado is going to be on the back edge of this red blob right there, and we'll go ahead and zoom in. If you're in Campton, by the way, you are included in the tornado warning polygon that is valid until 4/15. So here's your communities in the northern part of Okaloosa County that are included in the tornado warning. You've got the community right here of Blackman, Good Hope. Laurel Hill is right here included in that warning. So again, we need you to take action right now if you are at Blackman, Good Hope, areas near Laurel Hill, or Campton. Auburn, Florida, tiny community north of Crestview, is not included. By the way, this has nothing to do with Auburn, Alabama. This is Auburn, Florida. But again, the polygon is to the north. So again, we advise folks in Campton all the way back up to Laurel Hill, we need you to take action as this possible tornado could be on your doorstep in a matter of moments. I think this is going to be an issue where we have the tornado really being in Okaloosa County. I think the Covington County inclusion in the warning is more of a precaution, but we do respect what's going on here, and so we advise, again, folks in Good Hope, in Blackman, areas near Wing in southern Covington County, we need you to get to the lowest floor of your site-built structure away from windows and doors. We want you to put as many walls as you possibly can between you and the outside world. Grab a helmet. That is the best possible thing on this list that you can do to protect yourself. This is not going to be a big bad tornado. It's likely not to be a violent tornado, but nonetheless, any tornado is a big deal. And so again, northern Okaloosa County, we want you to take action. And again, across the region, it's been kind of a rainy, gray day, which is what we need. We have had so many days of sunshine and nice weather, hot weather, but today that has ended, and we've got a very moist, humid air mass in place, conducive for a few strong storms. This will likely not be a night where we have many more tornado warnings. This is probably going to be somewhat of an isolated event, but for the folks that are in Wing or areas near Good Hope or Blackman in the northern part of Okaloosa County here north of the interstate, well north of the interstate, that's Interstate 10. We need you to take action. And again, if you're just joining us, all the major population centers in Escambia and really Covington County as well, you are okay. But again, for folks near Wing, we need you to take action. Lowest floor, site-built structure away from windows and doors, putting as many walls as you can between you and the outside world. Let's actually go back over to the velocity product here, and we'll kind of assess how this storm is doing. The classic reflectivity view is probably what you're accustomed to seeing when we have active weather, but the velocity, this is a great product that tells us exactly what's going on in the storms in terms of which way the storm is moving. So again, let's actually look at that, and your rotation area is going to be right in through there. That's your counterclockwise circulation. This is going to be Alabama Highway number 137 in Covington County. Just checking a few other things here to see if we've got any reports or pictures coming in. Again, that's going to be Alabama Highway number 137, so we encourage no driving on Alabama Highway 37 that becomes Florida State Highway 189 north of Baker. So here's the deal. Let's see here. If you are in Baker, which is going to be right here, that's where Baker sits, no travel northbound on 189 up into areas here near Blackman, near Good Hope. This thing, I tell you what, it's going to make a beeline right over the tiny community of Blackman in the next minute if it's not there already. Again, you'll probably have gusty winds, and the concern is a brief spin-up tornado. This thing is not going to be down very long, most likely, but if it affects you, it's a big deal. And so that's why we come on and do this uninterrupted weather coverage anytime we have a tornado warning for any part of South Alabama or Northwest Florida. That's our policy around here. It's been our policy since 2015, and of course, we're going to keep with it. So again, northern Okaloosa County. This is well to the north of the interstate. This is Interstate 10 right here. Holt is here. You've got the community of Baker right here. This area is the Blackwater River State Forest. If you are familiar with the drive between Berrydale and Munson, which is right here, Berrydale and Munson, by the way, not included in the tornado warning. But again, if you're familiar with the drive, this is a very rural part of Northwest Florida, very little in the way of cell phone coverage out here. But once you start getting over here to Florida State Highway 89, that's when you start getting more folks involved, because we've got more folks that live in that area along that major north-south highway. If you've been perhaps to Andalusia recently, you know that traveling southbound on 29, a lot of that traffic turns off on Alabama Highway 137 that becomes 189 once you cross the state line. And that's beach traffic, obviously likely going to Destin, but again, what we're advising is no travel southbound on Alabama Highway 137 to the south of Wing to the state line, and then that road becomes 189. No travel northbound on 189 from Baker north to basically Wing. So again, that's where your possible tornado is, right in through there. And again, it's moving just like this. In fact, let's put this velocity map into motion for you, and you'll see that over the last few frames, this thing really emerged as it was crossing. All right, there we go. Sorry about that. That was actually my fault. I actually had some bad batteries in my battery pack. Again, we are in the middle of live tornado warning coverage for the northern part of Okaloosa County. The warning is in effect until 4:15 p.m. And again, I want to apologize for that audio issue. I changed the batteries last night, but again, welcome to the world of live production, where things can go wrong. So again, thanks for bearing with me on that. Got a tornado warning for the northern part of Okaloosa and the southern part of Covington County. Just to bring you an update of where we are, current time is 3:48 p.m. And the deal is, this is the only tornado warning that we have as of 3:48 p.m. We are not expecting any more tornado warnings, or very few. So again, this is going to be an isolated situation that probably will not repeat over the next few hours. Could there be an isolated rogue storm? Yes, but the odds of any given area having a tornado today do remain very low. Again, current time 3:49 p.m. And just looking at our feeds here to see what we've got going on, I have not seen any reports of damage which is certainly a good thing. If you have damage, of course, we encourage you not to go outside and take pictures. That is the last thing we want you to do if you are in the northern part of Okaloosa County. In fact, let's go back over to the velocity here, and you'll see that the cell, it doesn't look like a classic tornado signature. Yes, there's definitely some rotation in here, but I think it's going to be a deal where you have gusty winds. Perhaps we had a brief spin-up tornado, but that signature has certainly broadened out. Now, again, because we have the active tornado warning in effect, we encourage folks in the northern part of Okaloosa County here to remain sheltered. So again, that would be areas near Campton, right in through here. You've got Laurel Hill, which is a community right here just to the south of the Alabama-Florida line. You've also got Wing included, but I will say I think the core risk of this tornado is going to pass south of the Alabama-Florida state line. But again, because we have the tornado warning in effect, we want you to remain sheltered, as again, the possible tornado is very near or approaching Campton, Florida right now. And again, just looking at our feeds here to see what we've got going on, and I apologize again for the audio issue that we had earlier, but we got that resolved. And again, no active tornado watch. If you've been following us in the RedZone Weather app today, you know that we had a mesoscale discussion issued by the Storm Prediction Center about an hour ago that said a situation just like this could be a possibility. In other words, a brief spin-up tornado. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. And we've got a polygon update to share with you. Let's actually stop the radar. And we can give an all clear at this point to Escambia County in Alabama. And so we did have very few folks out here in the eastern part of the county near Damascus, near Roberts, near Bethel included in that tornado warning, but it has since been cleared. So again, we can give an all clear to Escambia County, Alabama at this point. Now, northern Okaloosa County and the far southern part of Covington County remain involved in this tornado warning. In fact, let's actually look at the whole counties just to give you a better view of who is involved. And again, this is a situation where you have, I mean, a tiny part of Covington County included in the warning. In fact, let's go back over to the reflectivity view, and you'll see that very tiny part of Covington is included in this, Covington County that is. Andalusia, Opp, areas near Onika are not included and have never been included. This warning is in effect for areas down here near Wing. We can also say that Lockhart and Florala are not included in this active tornado warning polygon. So again, for folks near the Alabama Highway 137 corridor south of Carolina and Pleasant Home, this warning has never included you. But again, for folks near Wing, we need you to take action and be in that tornado safe place right now. And let's go down to Okaloosa County, because again, Destin, areas near Niceville, nothing to do with you. You're okay. You can go about your business. Same thing in Fairhope, areas near the Valparaiso Airport, which is branded as the Northwest Florida Airport near Destin there. Same thing at Mary Esther, has nothing to do with you. This tornado warning is in the far, and I'm talking far northern part of Okaloosa County near Campton. That's the next community in line that could see this potential tornado moving just like that. On that trajectory, it's moving east at about 35 miles per hour. That will put it over the tiny community of Campton in about, say, 2 to 3 minutes. So you've got just a few more minutes there to get sheltered near Campton. Just looking at a few other things here, again, to see if we have any reports of damage or pictures coming in, anything like that. And I'm not seeing anything in the way of damage, and so that certainly is a good thing. Now again, I will say this is a very rural part of Northwest Florida. So again, there's a good chance that because we've got folks at work and things like that, we may not get images until a bit later if this thing has caused damage back here in the far northwestern part of Okaloosa County near Hurricane Lake in the Blackwater River State Forest. Again, that's where the possible tornado happened, and the signature has really kind of broadened out over the last few frames. Again, the good news is across our region, let's actually look at other places across the region just briefly. Clark County, lots of rain to the north today up here near Thomasville and Fulton, but we have had no severe weather across southwest Alabama. The only warning that we've had today is this active tornado warning that we've got down here in parts of southern Covington and the northern part of Okaloosa County. The warning has been canceled for Escambia County in Alabama. So again, no active tornado warning for any part of Escambia County, Alabama, as of just a few minutes ago when the warning was canceled at 3:46 p.m. So again, that's the only warning we've had. Very heavy rain continues across parts of Escambia County, Alabama, however, extending from here near Appleton all the way back over to Wallace, Barnett's Crossroads, and even areas here just to the north of Atmore near Porch. That cell looks mighty suspicious. In fact, let's zoom in there. I don't think that it's rotating strongly at this point, but let's check on that briefly. We'll go back over to our other source and show you the velocity product. And again, for those of you that have been watching Red Zone Weather for a while, you know that we go to this product frequently to assess which way the water droplets are moving in the clouds. In other words, radars can't see tornadoes, but they can see which direction and speed the particles in the atmosphere are moving. And again, we had that velocity couplet ramp up in northern Okaloosa County, thus why we had the tornado warning triggered earlier that still remains in effect for northern Okaloosa and the far southern part of Covington County. But pretty much all the other storms I'm seeing on radar, there really are no definite couplets. And so that's a good thing. We don't want to see couplets because that would indicate that there could be potentially a tornado. But again, this is the only one that I'm seeing right now on Doppler radar. So let's go ahead and zoom in there. And you'll see when we back this up, let's kind of look at when the warning was issued. And this was at 3:31. This is the first frame of the tornado warning. And right in through there, you can kind of see the greens and the reds coming together. Again, this was about, say, 20 minutes ago. You had this broad couplet right in through here to the west of Blackman and the Florida 189 corridor here. But the rotation has since broadened out somewhat. And so what that likely means, yes, there could have been a tornado back here in the northwestern part of Okaloosa County, perhaps to the west of Florida State Highway 189. But once the circulation moved into the central part of the county, again, that rotation has really just kind of fizzled out. We'll take that forward. And yeah, that is... there could be a tornado down, perhaps a weak tornado, and like I always say, if a tornado affects you, it could be a big deal. But this rotation right in through here in the northern part of Okaloosa County remains weak, it remains broad, and that's what we want to see in a situation like this. We don't want to see it tighten up because that's when we could have a tornado potentially on the ground. But most likely, this is probably not on the ground. There could be straight line winds involved with this, perhaps upwards of 60 miles per hour, and obviously that can do damage at your location. And thus, that's why we continue to encourage folks here in the northern part of Okaloosa County to remain sheltered. Laurel Hill, Campton, areas near Blackman, Good Hope. Please stay in that tornado-safe place. That is a lowest floor. You don't want to go up. You want to go down during tornado warnings. If you don't have a basement, though, that's okay. You can stay in the lowest part of your house and obviously still survive a tornado. So again, those four communities, Good Hope, Blackman, Campton, Laurel Hill, those are the main concerns. Wing is on the northern periphery of this, and I think there's a good chance that if you're in Wing, you're going to be A-OK, but because you remain in this tornado warning polygon technically, I think it's a good idea to remain sheltered. The core of the storm has clearly passed to the east of Wing at this point, and no doubt about it, there's going to be quite a bit of rain, heavy rain, in the areas near Lockhart and Florala over here in the southern part of Covington County. But let me stress again, if you are in Lockhart or Florala, this tornado warning has never included you. Same thing, by the way, in Andalusia and Opp, not for you. This is strictly for the southern part of Covington County, down near Wing. So, yeah, and look, I've had several reports of sirens being activated across Covington County, but warnings are not issued for entire counties any longer. In fact, let me kind of zoom out and show you this. We'll go back over to LD1, which is our live Doppler source here, and you'll see that this tornado warning is for a very small part of each county. In fact, let's actually take off the reflectivity data here. So that red zone per se is the only spot that we have included in the tornado warning. So you see how big Covington County is. It's a rather large county with the county seat being right there at Andalusia. Even though sirens may be sounding across the county, the National Weather Service, again, issues these beautiful polygons. And so, again, we can give an all clear at this point. You've never been included in a tornado warning in Andalusia, in Opp, in Sanford, in Strawn, in Clearview, Red Level, River Falls, Carolina, Pleasant Home. Has nothing to do with you, and this warning has never had anything to do with you. Same thing in Okaloosa County. The big population centers are down south. Crestview, Niceville, Destin, Fort Walton. You've been fine. This tornado warning is for the far northern part of Okaloosa County, including Campton, including areas near Good Hope and Blackman. And I'm seeing some reports here on social media, unconfirmed reports, of high winds in areas near Blackman, which would line up well with the radar signature that we're seeing. Again, just looking at a few other things here. We'll turn on the radar data and zoom back in for you. Again, that big blob on the southwestern flank is where your possible tornado could be. Right in through there is where this possible tornado is. And I realize there's a lot of red on the radar, but your possible tornado is coming up in through here toward Campton and Laurel Hill. It has, the possible tornado has crossed Florida State Highway number 189. And it's coming into areas, again, north of Auburn, Florida, and near Laurel Hill, and that's going to be the Florida State Highway 85 corridor, which is your main north-south thoroughfare in Okaloosa County. 85 actually goes all the way from Laurel Hill down in through Crestview and ultimately down toward the beach. But again, areas near Crestview and Auburn in Okaloosa County, you are fine. A-OK, no issues in those two communities. Strictly on the northern side of Okaloosa County, right in through here in this zone is where we have the greatest potential of seeing a tornado over the next few minutes. Current time is now 4:01 p.m. We've got 14 more minutes on this tornado warned storm at least, unless the Weather Service decides to extend this into southern Covington. I think there's a good chance, based on the radar signature, that they don't. What happens is when you cross over into Walton County, which is over in here, that becomes the area of responsibility for the National Weather Service office in Tallahassee. So again, we belong to NWS Mobile. Our warnings are issued by the good meteorologists at NWS Mobile. But again, once this storm crosses into Walton County, it becomes not only the responsibility of NWS Tallahassee, but it also moves out of our primary coverage area and into the Panama City television market. That's where it picks up in Walton County. So again, that is what's most likely to happen, is that this storm will probably move into Walton County. And I tell you what, over the last few frames, it has ramped back up. We'll go back over to the velocity product here. And right in through there, you can really see it. It's more well-defined as it's coming into Campton. No doubt about it, though. I think that pretty much for the lifetime of this tornado warning, the circulation has really been on the southern flank of this polygon. Again, the polygons are great. They're small areas, but they also give us a good indication of where the storm is moving, and also they have room for error. And in this case, I think that the storm is going to be on the southern flank of this polygon, meaning Campton, tiny community right here of Okaloo, which is in northern Okaloosa County along the Florida State Highway 85 corridor. Those are the areas that need to be sheltered right now. Again, moving just like that. And on that trajectory, I would say in the next, say, 2 to 3 minutes, and Campton very well could have a tornado with that signature. That has ramped up considerably over the last few minutes. So again, if you're in Campton, let me remind you what you need to do right now. Lowest floor, site-built structure away from windows and doors. Take a screenshot of this. Do whatever you need to do. If you're in Campton, we want you to check off all the boxes and do this anytime we have an active tornado warning. So important that you know what to do, and more importantly, that you do it. That's when where we lose so many people, in that we have so many people that are able to get tornado warnings with these wireless emergency alerts on the phones, but so many people don't do anything about it. And again, the call to action is for Campton, Laurel Hill, and areas near Okaloo in the northern part of Okaloosa County. Again, screenshot this, do whatever you need to do, and make it happen. Anytime we have a tornado warning, we want to put something on our heads like a helmet. And again, I know it looks funny, but I tell you what, it's been really a blessing to be able to go in these schools and tell the kids what to do, and hopefully that not only empowers the kids, but empowers all of us, the parents and people that should be A-OK and prepared during times of tornado warnings. And by the way, one tornado warning, that's what we have. No more across the region. It is just this one, and I think there's a good chance that we will be able to keep it that way after this warning expires. Let's put the radar into motion for you on this Tuesday afternoon. We're Tuesday, October 15th. Current time is 4:04 p.m. Scattered showers continue across the region, but there's only one severe storm, and it's in the northern part of Okaloosa County, far southern part of Covington County, well south of Andalusia, well south of Opp, well south of Red Level as well. These storms in Escambia and Conecuh counties, right in through there, they're also moving east, and they are coming into an environment that could be a little bit more conducive for severe weather over the next few hours. In fact, what I'm going to do is actually pull up the tweet that I sent out about an hour ago. For those of you in the RedZone Weather app, you know that we post updates every hour in a situation like this when we have severe storms on the way. And here's the mesoscale discussion that was issued about an hour ago. And you can see that the Storm Prediction Center noted that supercellular structures would be possible over the next few hours. They're not going to issue a tornado watch in this event. The coverage of the storms is just not going to be very widespread. But again, that storm that we're tracking right now in the northern part of Okaloosa County is right there in the heart of this zone that the Storm Prediction Center outlined about an hour ago. So again, good confidence that the storms down here in northwest Florida are in an environment supportive of severe weather. So let's zoom into our tornado warning that continues until 4:15 local time for the northern part of Okaloosa and the far southern part of Covington County. That's your polygon. And again, let me stress, warning hasn't changed. Andalusia, Carolina, areas near Red Oak, Lockhart, Florala, you are A-OK. If you're just now tuning in, perhaps on Facebook or in the RedZone Weather app, you know that southern Covington County is the only part of Covington County that is included in this tornado warning. And let's see, I think we got a new tornado warning to tell you about. This is going to be for Okaloosa County. This is going to be actually a continuation of the warning that is in effect. And so what the Weather Service is doing in their assessment is issuing a new tornado warning just for Okaloosa County. So that means that Campton, nothing's changed. You need to stay in that safe place if you're in Campton. Basically from Crestview all the way up to Laurel Hill, no travel on Florida State Highway number 85. Again, that connects Laurel Hill down to Crestview. The storm, I'm telling you what, it's going to be right over Campton in a matter of moments, if it's not already. And let's look at the velocity signature on this, because again, for them to continue the tornado warning, yeah, no doubt about it, it has ramped up over the last few frames. So here's what I want to do. Let's kind of zoom in on this and we'll give you kind of a closer view here. Your tornado is going to be, or possible tornado I should say, is going to be right in through there. That's your counterclockwise circulation. This line right there is going to be Florida State Highway 85 that connects Laurel Hill down to Crestview. And so with this, no doubt this circulation center is going to move just like this over Campton and over tiny community of Okaloo. And you see Laurel Hill Lookout Tower. There's actually a tower that's an old fire tower that sits right there on that side of the road. And from that fire tower south is where we could have this possible tornado. I tell you, it's going to be a pretty good vantage point to look into this thing. There is heavy rain occurring in this area, but I think there will be a good glimpse of this possible tornado moving into Campton north of Crestview over the next few minutes. Let's go back to the reflectivity product here and we'll show you the new polygon. By the way, the new tornado warning is in effect until 4:45 local time. That's when the new warning expires. So we're going to be with you for at least the next 45 minutes or so, talking you through this. Let's kind of show you a wide view here across the region. And again, if I go silent for a minute, please just bear with me as I'm checking our sources to see. I'm not seeing any reports of damage, and so that certainly is good news. But again, this is moving through a very rural part of Okaloosa County. And I think it's fair to say at this point, if you're in Covington County, Wing, areas near Red Oak and south, we'll give you an all clear. So again, Covington County, you can come out of that hiding place. The tornado warning clearly, the greatest threat is going to be in the northern part of Okaloosa County, south of the Alabama-Florida state line, right in through here. So again, I know that the polygon is still in place right there, but again, the Weather Service in their assessment says that Covington County is now out. So again, we can give you an all clear if you're watching from Wing or areas along the County Highway 4 corridor here, basically from Wing back over to, say, Bethel and Roberts here. Very heavy rain is starting in Lockhart and Florala, but if you're in Lockhart or Florala, you're okay. This is a situation that's going to be to your southwest. Again, your current time is 4:10 p.m. and what the Weather Service has decided to do is extend the tornado warning for parts of Okaloosa County. Let's zoom in there. And again, for folks in Crestview, you are south of the warning, but again, Campton and areas here along Florida State Highway 85, those are the areas that are under the gun right now as of 4:10 p.m. from this possible tornado that's going to be on the back edge of this storm. Auburn sits right here. This is Auburn, Florida, and I realize that the word is out of the polygon, but this thing is going to come very close to Auburn. So if you're in the community of Auburn as a course of least regret, I would encourage you to get to that tornado safe place. By the way, here's Dorcas right here. You've got a tiny community right here just to the right of the banner on your screen there called Deerland. Deerland is out, but areas near Dorcas are very close to this polygon in. And so again, we encourage no driving from Laurel Hill back down to Auburn and really back down to Crestview. I would give it a little time to clear out, and it's only going to be 5 or 10 minutes before this storm moves to the east of this affected area into northern Walton County. And by the way, if you're in the northern part of Walton County, and when I say Walton County, I mean areas well to the north of Mossy Heads, just south of Florala, which is Paxton. Paxton sits right here. That's going to be the next areas involved in what will probably be a tornado warning issued by our friends at NWS Tallahassee. So again, your tornado is right here in the northern part of Okaloosa County, basically on top of Florida State Highway 85 right now near Campton. Let's go back over to the velocity product and we'll zoom in real tight to this area. And again, Campton and Okaloo are the two tiny communities involved in this warning. By the way, again, Crestview, you are fine. And by the way, we can give Blackman and Good Hope an all clear. The tornado risk has clearly now exited your area and it is on top of Campton and Okaloo. Again, just to give you a refresher, perhaps you're tuning in Florala or Paxton, this storm is going to pass just to your south. But if you're in Paxton or in the northern part of Walton County here north of Mossy Head, be on guard because you are next in line to see this possible tornado here right now situated along the Florida State Highway number 85, moving to the east at about 20 miles per hour. By the way, no tornado watch today. The Storm Prediction Center is likely not to issue a tornado watch just because the storms today are going to be not only more spread out, but also more isolated in nature. This is more of an isolated event than one that's going to be continuous across the region. We're really not going to see, most likely, many tornado warnings today, probably just this one cell. Could there be more? Yes, but the odds of that are low. And so again, under the gun right now, Campton and Okaloo along State Highway 85. And again, the cell is moving at about 20 miles an hour, just like that. And so let's kind of zoom in there and talk about some of the smaller county roads. And again, this is going to be north of Deerland, coming out towards County Highway 2 in Okaloosa County. That straight line that you see, let's see if we can switch sources there. There we go. This is the reflectivity product. That straight line that you see right here is County Highway 2 on the far eastern periphery of Okaloosa County. And so if you live, say, within 5 miles in Okaloosa County of County Highway 2, south of Laurel Hill, you are involved in this active tornado warning, and the tornado is right, or possible tornado, I should say, is right over Campton, moving just like that. So again, this is going to be your core zone right in through here of where this possible tornado might be over the next few minutes. And by the way, you've also got County Highway 393 right in through there just to the east of 85, which is another north-south thoroughfare there in the eastern part of Okaloosa County. Again, the good thing, and I realize that there are great folks who live out here, but this is in a very rural part of Okaloosa County, north of Crestview, north of Destin, north of, say, Fort Walton Beach. And people ask all the time, well, why do you say the same places over and over? We got folks coming in, we got folks coming out of the live feed. And so we want to tell folks who's involved. And naturally, because we have high population centers, in terms of the number of folks, we want to tell folks who's not involved as well. So again, Destin, Fort Walton Beach, areas near Valparaiso, you are okay. This has nothing to do with you. And again, this is the only storm that we have on the board as of 4:15 p.m. local time. And again, just checking our sources here to see if we have any damage reports. The good news is I keep checking Twitter and also TweetDeck and also Facebook, and I'm not seeing any reports of damage, and so that certainly is a good thing. We'll zoom back into our storm here in the northern part of Okaloosa County, and let me just reiterate, for folks that tuned in because of this tornado warning in southern Covington County, we can give you an all clear. We actually did that about 5 to 10 minutes ago, but perhaps you're just tuning in and you're in Covington County. You are okay, A-OK in Wing and areas near Red Oak, Florala. The tornado warning has been clipped out, and it just includes areas near Laurel Hill and also Campton in the northern parts of Okaloosa County. So again, if you're in Campton or Laurel Hill, perhaps here along State Highway 85, we need you to stay sheltered. Possible tornado is basically near or perhaps just to the east of Campton at this point. And it's moving to the east at about 20 miles per hour. We'll actually go back over the velocity product here and show you that. Let's put this in motion, and you'll see earlier what happened is that we had a tornado warning issued for the far eastern part of Escambia County, Alabama, and the cell really kind of evolved as such that the southern flank of it took over and really has developed in a way that could be supportive of a tornado near Campton. But watch right in through there. You see that blip on the radar? That's the couplet that could be responsible for the mesocyclone that could produce the tornado on the ground. And again, that's located near Campton right now in the northern part of Okaloosa County right now. Again, we encourage you near Campton and Laurel Hill, hang out in that tornado safe place, and I think in about, say, 10 minutes max, I'll be able to give you an all clear. It certainly won't be long. This is not going to be a long duration tornado warning. All right, we got an update for you. I think this is going to be a Polygon update. Let's actually go back over to our different source here. Yeah, and this was as of 4/17 or 16, the Weather Service still says the severe thunderstorm is capable of producing a tornado 7 miles southwest of Laurel Hill, 8 miles north of Crestview. That's exactly what we've been telling you, near Campton, near the tiny, tiny, tiny community of Okaloo, right in through here. And you know what? The Weather Service, in their assessment, they've actually trimmed out Laurel Hill. So let's zoom in on that, and you'll see that Laurel Hill sits right here. That's the core of Laurel Hill here. And so if you're in Laurel Hill at this point, Laurel Hill proper, we can give you an all clear. Now the fire tower, which sits south on Highway 85, if you know where that fire tower is, the lookout tower, from that fire tower south down to Auburn, Florida, you're still involved in this active tornado warning. Your possible tornado is going to be on the back flank of this cell that has ramped up. But I tell you what, again, the signature is certainly not as impressive as it once was. We'll zoom into the affected area right over Campton. And I know I've been calling out Campton, but we do love our folks in Campton, and we want them to stay in that tornado hiding place over the next few minutes. That's your counterclockwise circulation. The reds on this map, that dark red, That's wind that is moving like this, away from the radar. And then the green areas are water droplets high in the atmosphere that are moving toward the radar. And so again, you get this big counterclockwise circulation right in through here. Again, that's Florida State Highway 85 right here. Garden City, tiny community right there. From that lookout tower down to Auburn, Florida, included in the tornado warning. This line that you see right here, that's going to be Okaloosa County Highway number 2. So if you even know where that is, north of Dorcas and north of Deerland here, south of Laurel Hill, County Highway 2, you are involved in an active tornado warning. And once this crosses County Highway 2, it crosses the county line into northern Walton County, which becomes the area of responsibility for NWS at Tallahassee. And once it crosses there, obviously it's out of our area for good, and we will let the Panama City television stations pick up coverage if the Weather Service in Tallahassee chooses to extend this warning. So again, just to kind of give you a wide overview of what we've got going on, because again, I know we've got folks tuning in and tuning out of our feed. As of 3:31 p.m., we had our first tornado warning in several weeks issued for parts of southeastern Escambia, the northern part of Okaloosa, and the southern part of Covington County. Now, what's happened since then, Escambia and Covington are now out. So you have no active tornado warning for any part of Escambia or Covington County, but the far northeastern corner of Okaloosa, south of Laurel Hill, north of Crestview, that's the only area that we have remaining in this active tornado warning that's valid until 4:45 local time. And it's because of this couplet that has developed very near Campton. And I believe that we have a photo that has been sent in. This is going to be courtesy of at CNC Chasing. And I want to thank Sean, who is at Northwest Florida Tracking on Twitter, for sending this in. Let's see if we can get this up, because this is a nice image of exactly what this thing looks like. I realize we show you radar left and right, and to most of you, it probably doesn't mean anything. It may look like just color everywhere. But let's show you kind of a real-life view of what's happening on the ground in the northern part of Okaloosa County. And again, this is courtesy of at CNC Chasing on Twitter. So again, there's your, that could be perhaps the leading edge of this storm, looking into it. Perhaps from the south, I'm speculating there, but no doubt this is near Campton in the northern part of Okaloosa County, north of Crestview, south of Laurel Hill. And you're going to get views just like that. I don't see anything down there. The cloud bases are pretty defined right in through here. But nonetheless, could there have been a tornado down with this previously? Yes, certainly. Back in the northwestern tip of Okaloosa County. And again, we want to thank CNC Chasing, at CNC Chasing on Twitter, responsible for that image that is coming to us from the northern part of Okaloosa County. And again, also thanks to Sean with Northwest Florida Tracking for alerting us to that over on Twitter. All right, back to the radar we go. And again, this is the only warning that we have as of 4:22 p.m. I'm meteorologist Spinks Megginson. We are here because of this one tornado warning in the northern part of Okaloosa County due to this cell that was in Santa Rosa County about 45 minutes ago, started in through here, developed and moved just like that. We actually had parts of 3 counties involved in a tornado warning, but let's zoom in there and you'll see that this has likely now passed areas near Campton, most likely. I still want you to remain in that tornado hiding place if you're at Campton, or perhaps the tiny community of Okaloo. Same thing at Auburn, Florida, not Auburn, Alabama. Has nothing to do with Auburn, Alabama. We are so blessed. We've got many, many moms and dads of students at Auburn University that watch our coverage on a regular basis. This has nothing to do with Auburn, Alabama. This is Auburn, Florida. And again, from Auburn, Florida on State Highway 85 all the way back up to Laurel Hill, that's where we have this possible tornado very near or perhaps just to the east of Campton, moving just like that. Your possible tornado would be right in here on the southwest flank of this tiny cell. And again, let me just stress again, the Weather Service has canceled out Covington and Escambia counties in Alabama. Nothing to do with you at this point. But like we've been talking about, if you're at Paxton, Florida, which is right here, all the way back down to Mossy Head, that, by the way, is US Highway 331. We're putting you on notice because you may get a tornado warning next if the Weather Service in Tallahassee decides to extend this warning into the northern part of Walton County. And by the way, Walton County, this is going to be for the northern part of Walton, well away from the beaches, well to the north of there, up here just to the south of Paxton and to the north of Mossy Head. By the way, again, Dearland and Dorcas, you are technically out of this tornado warning. But once you go into areas, very, very rural areas and farmland north of Dorcas here along County Highway 2 in Okaloosa County, again, this is County Highway 2 that you see right here in the far northeastern corner of Okaloosa County. That's going to be the area under the gun from this possible tornado back in through here. Let's actually go back over to the velocity product. And I tell you, it's just not a classic tornado signature. Yes, there is broad rotation, but that couplet certainly looks weaker than it did, say, about 30 minutes ago when the warning was just coming on the board. So again, broad rotation here in the northern part of Okaloosa County. Garden City is a tiny community. There's a few churches right in through there along State Highway 85, but the threat has clearly passed to the northeast of Garden City at this point. And it's coming into the farmland areas here in timberland out here near County Highway 2 in the northeastern corner of Okaloosa County. We've technically got 24 more minutes on this warning. I don't think it's going to make it that long because it will likely move into Walton County in about 10 minutes. So here's what I want to do. Let's actually zoom out. And again, it has been raining like cats and dogs across parts of Clark, Washington, Monroe, Conecuh, and Butler counties here. Really, the inland interior areas of South Alabama have seen much of the rain today. We had a rain report earlier from Thomasville of about 2.8 inches of rain in total. And you're going to get rain amounts like that stacking up over the next, say, 6 to 12 hours as this rain continues pushing off to the south. What's driving all this? We're in a very moist air mass out ahead of a strong cold front that's going to push through on Wednesday, ushering in cooler, drier air. And I tell you what, I hate for anyone to ever have a tornado warning, but it is going to be a wonderful consolation prize on Thursday as we have cool, dry, stable air moving in that are going to bring down high temperatures into the mid-70s. So certainly something to look forward to there. I tell you what, very nice weather is on the way. We actually have another photo that's just been sent in. Let's see if we can zoom in on that. This is going to be from Michael Knowles and from Stuart Mulford. This is going to be on Florida State Highway 189. The tornado passed there about 25 minutes ago. So again, this image is not exactly current at this point, but it is worth showing you because again, you're going to get views just like that near Campton and perhaps just to the east of Campton over the next few minutes. This is going to be Florida State Highway 189. For those of you familiar with this area, what happens is when Alabama Highway 137, when you cross into Florida, it becomes Florida State Highway 189, and that looks potentially like a shelf cloud or something to that effect. Certainly ominous skies there, and I believe this view is looking to the north. It says tornado north of Baker, and again, that's coming to us from Stuart Mulford, so we certainly want to thank him for that view. That was actually left in our Facebook live feed, courtesy of Michael Knowles, so we certainly want to thank him for that. Let's go back over to the velocity product here, and you'll see that, again, this circulation is pretty broad looking on radar. Could it be producing a tornado? Yes, but it probably is a weak tornado that is not going to be down for very long. That's the kind of environment that we're in today. Yes, there could be a brief tornado or two, but we're not expecting widespread severe weather. But nonetheless, for folks near Campton and out here toward County Highway 2 in the far northeastern corner of Okaloosa County, we encourage you to maintain your shelter in that tornado-safe place. Perhaps you're just tuning in at the last minute, and I know it gets repetitive, and people ask, well, why do you say the same thing over and over? It's because, again, we've got folks coming in and out of the feed. For folks in areas near County Highway 2, south of Laurel Hill, we encourage you to get to the lowest floor of a site-built structure away from windows and doors, putting as many walls as you can between you and the outside world. Grab a helmet, grab something to protect your head. That is the best possible thing that you can do during a tornado warning. Let's go back over to reflectivity here. And again, across the region, we do have more storms that are bubbling up in parts of Escambia and the northern part of Mobile County over here, coming into areas near Citronelle and perhaps just to the north of Wilmer here. These storms are under severe limits. Same thing in the northern part of Washington. Yes, very heavy rain near Millry, near Chatham, out near Jordan, here in the northern part of Washington County. Same thing in Clark, Coffeyville, areas near McIntyre, very heavy rain, but all of this mess is well under severe limits. That tiny, tiny polygon right here is the only tornado warning that we have on the board as of 4:30 p.m. So again, we're coming up on the time in which something's going to have to give here. The storm likely going to move into Walton County, and we'll see over the next few minutes if NWS Tallahassee chooses to issue that tornado warning for the northern part of Walton. I tell you though, based on this signature goodness, there is no, I should say there's very little in the way of rotation. Yes, there is very, very broad rotation, but this is certainly ramped down, and I think there's a good chance that NWS Tallahassee perhaps won't issue that warning based on this signature. But like we talked about a minute ago, these things are cycling up, they're cycling down, and so this thing very well could cycle back up. It's producing ominous looking clouds. We showed you a few of those back here along 189, State Highway 189 here in the northern part of Okaloosa County. But since then, the circulation has really kind of ramped down. And so again, for folks near County Highway number 2, in Okaloosa County, south of Laurel Hill and north of Deerland, which is right here, and Dorcas, that's going to be the area under the gun. I haven't said this in several minutes, but again, if you are in Destin, this is not for you. Again, has never been for you, for Fort Walton Beach, for areas near the airport, VPS, Mary Esther, you are A-OK. If you're perhaps just tuning in because of the tornado warning alert that you received, again, this is for areas out here near Campton and just to the east of Campton. And this is actually to the east of the Florida State Highway 85 corridor in the northern part of Okaloosa County. Let's actually check a few other things here. I'm going to put it on our source here on our live Doppler here so you can kind of get a feel for what's happening across the region. And while we look at that, I'm going to go in depth here and check a few other sources to see if we are seeing anything that would suggest major damage. And again, I don't see anything like that at this time, which is a good thing. Getting a video in from Shelly Pierce, and this is going to be from Porch. We'll pull this up. This was a possible funnel cloud, and I tell you, that is mighty, mighty ominous. Let's actually see if we can take that source full. That was actually about 30 minutes ago near the Porch Creek Indian Reservation. That's a funnel cloud. Again, this has nothing to do with the tornado warning down in Okaloosa County, but that right there, I tell you, that very well could have been a funnel cloud. Certainly an ominous sky nonetheless. And let's actually see if we can go back to our radar while I pull up some more videos and pictures that we're getting in here. By the way, I want to thank Shelly Pierce for that video that you just saw, that possible funnel cloud near Porch. Thank you also to all the good folks who have been sending us images and pictures not only on Facebook, but also in the share tab of the RedZone weather app. That is a phenomenal way to get us photos and videos from across the region. And again, current time is going to be at 4:33 p.m. Yes, there's a lot of rain ongoing, a lot across the region. And I'm seeing reports that heavy rain in this location and this location. But again, the only severe weather threat that we have as of 4:33 p.m. is going to be in the northern part of Okaloosa County here near Campton. And I tell you, the cell has really moved east of Campton. We can give an all clear at this point to areas along the State Highway 85 corridor from Crestview all the way back up to Laurel Hill. So again, the major roads in Okaloosa County, you've got State Highway 85 right here. You've got State Highway 189 north of Baker here. All clear for those major north-south thoroughfares in Okaloosa County. Again, your tornado or possible tornado is right in through here, about to cross County Highway 2, which is right there. We'll actually zoom in and put it on the map for you. That line that you see right in through there is going to be County Highway 2. Possible tornado is going to be right here on the back edge of this small cell, moving just like that. And so again, in about 5 minutes, this thing is going to be out of Okaloosa and move into the northern part of Walton County. And again, it's good news because the cell has definitely weakened over the last few frames. No doubt about it. There is very little in the way of rotation in this storm. But because we still have the active tornado warning, we encourage folks that live along or near County Highway 2 in Okaloosa County to remain sheltered for the next, again, 5 minutes, and I'll be able to give you an all clear. You certainly could have gusty winds, maybe even a brief spin-up tornado, perhaps moving into these areas. But again, the threat is certainly lower than it once was, say, about 30 minutes ago when the cell was back here over the central part of Okaloosa County. Yeah, and I'm not seeing anything in the way of damage being reported. We're looking on different sources here, not only in the RedZone Weather app, again, thanks for those reports, but also via NWS chat and also monitoring social media as well. Yes, there were ominous clouds, but so far, so good in the way of possible damage. I'm just not seeing it, and so that certainly is a good thing. By the way, once we get this tornado warning off the board, we do have one more thing to talk about, and that's going to be a development in the tropics. In the central Gulf of Mexico, there is an area of disturbed weather. We'll have a full post about that later this evening. But again, for northern Okaloosa County, this is going to be the area of main concern for the next 9 minutes. Current time is 4:36. And so the warning expires at 4:45 p.m. local time. And look, like this thing has been doing over the last hour since the warning was issued, it's cycling up, it's cycling down. And just as I say that a minute ago with the thing weakening, it's cycling back up as it's crossing County Highway 2 here in the northeastern part of Okaloosa County. And so on that trajectory, moving into northern Walton, looks like the core of this is going to be south of Paxton. So if you're in Paxton, you are okay. Same thing at Mossy Head. This is going to be well north of Interstate 10 here in Walton County. This is U.S. Highway 331 that connects Florala back down to Defuniak Springs. And so, again, the area of concern is going to be in those areas approaching Glendale in about 45 minutes as we continue to monitor this possible tornado moving out of Okaloosa County at this point. Again, say 2-3 more minutes, and I'll be able to give you an all clear in all parts of Okaloosa County. And again, just looking here, it is so encouraging. Again, I have not had one report of damage, and that is what we want to see anytime we have a tornado warning. It's certainly horrible to have any type of damage, but the good news is I'm just not seeing that at this point as of 4:38 p.m. So again, this is going to be the final time we kind of look at this warning before it goes off the board. We'll zoom in one more time, and again, for folks in Campton and Okaloo, we've given you an all clear. Okaloo is a tiny community south of the fire tower here along Florida State Highway 85. And again, your possible tornado is down in through here at this point. This black line right here, and actually this red line, that is when the storm will cross into Walton County. So again, once it crosses that line, it moves into Walton County, and it's moving just like that to the east at about 20 miles per hour. So in about, again, 2 minutes, we'll be able to give you an all clear in Okaloosa County. But elsewhere across the region, we do have active weather ongoing as of 4:39 p.m. Let's zoom out on our reflectivity product here. And this is the classic radar view across the region. Lots of heavy rain, lots of very gusty winds in some of these storms back here in West Alabama. Most of the storms have been under severe limits today, vast majority of the storms. But yes, there have been some gusty winds upwards of 30, 40 miles per hour at times. And I wouldn't be shocked if in some of these storms here in the northern part of Mobile County, same thing here in the northern part of Santa Rosa County near Munson and the Blackwater River State Forest, if we had wind gusts upwards of 30 to 40 miles per hour, in addition to the very heavy rain that continues pushing off to the east. And I tell you, over the next few hours, we're going to get more isolated storms that have the potential to ramp up and briefly produce gusty winds and maybe even a brief tornado. That's going to be more of the anomaly than the trend, however. We're not expecting widespread severe weather, and we're certainly not expecting a widespread severe weather event, but isolated pockets of severe weather not out of the question, just like what we've had over the last hour and 10 minutes in the northern part of Okaloosa County. And let's actually look at the severe weather risk. We haven't looked at this today. This is the level 1 risk that remains in effect from the Storm Prediction Center. And you can see pretty much all areas outside of the immediate beaches involved in the low end risk. And so again, we need you to be on guard over the next few hours as we continue to have a low end severe weather risk that continues for vast majority of South Alabama and Northwest Florida. We'll go back to the radar. And again, this thing is absolutely moving into northern Walton County at this point. There's your couplet right in through there, basically on top of the county line. And we can pretty much tell you at this point that pretty much everyone in Okaloosa County, the danger is quickly coming to an end. I'm not prepared to say all clear just yet because, again, we do have an active tornado warning that continues for the next 4 minutes or so, but we are rapidly approaching the time in which this warning is going to go off of the board. Good news. Just checking a few other damage photos that I'm getting in via TweetDeck, which is the version of Twitter on desktop platforms. And I want to go back to this video that we had about an hour ago that was sent in from Porch, because I realized that several people at Porch viewed this apparent funnel cloud. This was sent in via Shelly Pierce. Let's show you this one more time. Perhaps you're just now tuning in. This was the view about an hour ago in the small cell that pushed through the Porch Creek Indian Reservation. We'll put this in motion for you, and you see right in through there, that very well could be a funnel cloud. Now, I can't confirm that based on the video without seeing it firsthand in person, but no doubt that could be a funnel cloud right in through there. And this is going to be the type of situation that you might see if you're near one of the stronger storms over the next few hours. Perhaps a brief funnel cloud, perhaps ominous clouds, a mesocyclone, things like that. And if you see something like this, please always pass it along to us. Even if it's nothing, it's helpful to see ground truth views from across the region. And yeah, I tell you, that probably is a funnel cloud looking like that. You see it kind of elongating there in the last few frames. Again, this is in the Porch Creek Indian Reservation, and this video was sent in via Shelly Pierce. So we certainly want to thank her for that video. Let's go back over to Live Doppler. And I think it's definitely safe to say at this point that the danger has ended in Okaloosa County. So as of 4:43 p.m., all clear. The tornado warning is coming to an end for all parts of our local counties in South Alabama and Northwest Florida. I'm meteorologist Spinks Megginson. and we are technically about to be tornado warning free. In other words, without a tornado warning for the first time in about an hour and 10 minutes. Here's what I want to do before we get out of your hair. Let's talk about what's happening across each county, and barring the issuance of new warnings, we will get out of your hair. So let's start back here in West Alabama. Here's Clark and Washington counties. Heavy rain happening right now along portions of the U.S. Highway 43 corridor from Jackson extending all the way back up to Thomasville. Grove Hill on 84 West out to Coffeyville. Very heavy rains happening. These storms are under severe limits. It's been mostly dry over the last hour or so in parts of Monroe County, but there are some showers forming up here near Veredenburg and also near Beatrice. Conecuh County, isolated showers in the southern end of the county, south of U.S. Highway 84 near Castleberry. You've also got some showers near Jay Villa and Johnsonville, and also some showers out here near Pigeon Creek. In Escambia County, if you're in Bruton looking north, very heavy rain falling out near the Bruton Country Club, which is now Juniper Creek. Same thing at Appleton, same thing at Wallace. You've also got a small shower near Atmore. In Covington County, one of the counties affected by the tornado warning a minute ago, I say a minute ago, it actually has been off the board for Covington for about 15 minutes. But nonetheless, scattered showers continue near Andalusia, near Red Level. Same thing down here near Pleasant Home, Wing, and Florala. For Northwest Florida, the focus has been on Okaloosa County over the last little bit. We also note that there's a very heavy area of rain happening near Munson along the State Highway 4 corridor south to areas near Holt. This storm is moving just like that, and that's going to track over the very same areas that were affected earlier by the tornado warning. We'll go back over to Mobile and Baldwin counties, last but not least. And very heavy rain is happening here in the northern part of Mobile County out towards Citronelle and also just to the north of Wilmer. These storms moving just like this to the east on the trajectory to affect Calvert and Mount Vernon, but these storms are under severe limits. Mostly dry right now across Baldwin County. More showers possible over the next few hours. It is now 4:45 p.m. Let me show you one more time over in Okaloosa County just to show the tornado warning has come to an end. We have no active tornado warnings for any part of South Alabama or Northwest Florida. And as of 4:45 p.m., it is time for us to say goodbye. If we have more tornado warnings, we will of course come straight back on our live stream bringing you the very latest. On behalf of all of us at RedZone Group LLC, I'm Spinks Megginson saying goodbye for now. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, and I'll try to get to those in just a little bit. Thanks so much for watching our tornado warning coverage this afternoon. We will see you soon.